And we are back with another outstanding episode of the Square Table Degenerates. Today we welcome to the show rapper L.A. Sno from the group Duice. How are you today, sir?
What's going on, my brother? How you do?
I'm doing good, man. It's starting to warm up. It's going to be nice this weekend for the tailgates. I know people may be laughing at this point. Oh, you're still a Browns fan, huh? Whatever, man. It's about getting together with your boys, smoking some weed, and
Well, LA.
Well,
I'm in Atlanta, and this shit is not real nice right now. Freezing.
Oh, well, to Atlantites or Atlanteans, 50 degrees is like, you don't even leave the house. They'll shut down the school, right?
Yeah. They'll shut it down for some ice on the road real fast.
I always love the post from my Georgia friends. They're like, 19 degrees. Oh, my God. It's the end of the world. It's like, you got to be okay. Florida's...
I can deal with anything over freezing. As long as it ain't freezing, I got to worry about pipes busting and all that shit. I'm cool. I can deal with anything over. Outside of that, I deal with it.
I'm usually good with above zero for the most part, as long as the wind's not blowing. If the wind's blowing, I just don't go outside. It's too cold for that.
Yeah,
none of that negative 40 windshield bullshit.
That Minnesota shit. I got a pot in Minnesota right now. Posted this. They were like -9. I'm like, fuck, do you even live in -9?
Right? He didn't even know it goes down that far. Doesn't go down that far?
Ain't even no way. Yeah, ain't no way.
That's great. That's great. Welcome everybody to the chat here, man. We're gonna have a good time tonight. So now you were born and raised in LA, hence your name LA Sno, right? Is that how did you, I mean, the LA part's obvious. Where'd you get the Sno part of your name from?
Sno was I was legally named after my grandfather, and we grew up in the same household. So keep confusion down, since I was so fucking bright, they started calling me Sno, and it just stuck through the years. And I mean, so when I started music, when I was in the military, a lot of times people call you about where you from if they don't know your name. Mm-hmm. That's where the LA part just came in. When I started the music, I just jumped in and started using the LA Sno. I just threw it together and rolled with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, compare your early childhood memories to those of like the popular movies that depict that time and era. For whatever reason, that region, specifically that time frame you grew up in, is quite popular in pop culture and all that. Can you compare like the realities?
The reality, it was just that. So I grew up in Compton. Went to school in Watts, and had never really been out of Compton in my whole life till we left and ended up moving to Memphis. But as far as like when you see movies like the Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society, that was the reality of Compton and South Central LA at that time. That was just a normal thing. It wasn't like when we grew up, it was like, oh, this is some shocking shit going on. It was just the norm. We didn't see it as being like ludicrous or crazy or something out of pocket. That's just what it was, Me and my sister put a perspective, like the Compton schools were so bad that we actually took a bus over to Watts to go to school. And I don't know if anybody on here ever heard of Watts, but then they're like, you went to Watts versus Compton? But that's just it was. It had a better school over there off Wilmington Boulevard called Willowbrook, and the principal, he was like Joe Clark on Lean on Me. He just didn't play that shit. So it was just a safer school. And we used to have to ride that RTD, which is like the public bus. So like in Atlanta, it's MARTA, and they call MARTA, they clone, they say it's moving Africans rapidly through Atlanta. That's what the little MARTA little deal is. And in LA, the RTD stood for the rough, tough, and dangerous. and that's just what it was. So it wasn't like it was something crazy for us. Just that's what we knew.
Now, I heard you say in other interviews you had you had to have your ID on you, and if you didn't have your ID on you, they just
you had to have an ID badge on at school all the time. That was before each school year. You had to go get a new ID badge, and you had to keep that badge on you, just like here at work. You had to have that ID badge on you, or they'll send you up out. You either go to principal, they can't prove it, you get arrested, just all kind of shit. Where you had to have ID on you, visible at all times. You just
they would literally just. I mean, did your caregivers get pissed off if they sent you home? I mean, grandpa's gonna like.
I never left that because I had one of the moms and shit that just didn't play that shit. So I pretty much stayed straight in school. I did, I guess, about the normal shit normal kids would do that age. It wasn't like, I was more afraid of than my mom and my grandparents than I was these fools in the fucking street. So believe it, I had never even skipped a day of school. I had never skipped school a day in my life because I knew the only day, and I did skip it in high school, but we had that senior skip day, and I let my mom know, you know, we skipping today. It's a senior, and so you like cool with it. But yeah, my parents just didn't play that shit, so it was like it wasn't even a option for us.
Wow, that's crazy. I was pretty straight laced in high school, but even I caught the one day because I went to Catholic school here in Cleveland. The schools were the same. I mean, you got people in the chat, Leps in the chat, a couple other guys.
Mm-hmm.
The schools around that time were the same. I mean, they instituted this policy in Cleveland called desegregation because basically they had the white flights, so all the white people on one side of town, black people on the other side of town, whatever.
Right.
So they started busing people to certain things, and you would have like, you know, at fourth grade, you know, a 10-year-old going over to the, you know, the bad part of town. It was just a clusterfuck. So a lot of people started putting their kids in the Catholic schools. So like I went to Catholic high school, and I had a lot of buddies that still went to public school, and they were just such a bad influence because the schools were so bad. LA, they would just just go there for homeroom, cut the rest of the day, just hang out in the parking lot. They didn't give a fuck. They didn't learn nothing. They weren't caring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what it was in LA. And then, like I say, even in high school, I finished in Memphis, and it just wasn't like it was just, you know, my parents, the crazy thing about it, they moved out of Compton, and me not knowing anything about the South. I was so dumb at that time, I guess, when they were saying we moved to Memphis. I'm like, that's like country shit. I'm thinking like these people ain't got cars. I was just that blind to what was really going on. I had never been out of Compton in my life. So, you know, you didn't see horses. I didn't see none of this.
Ooh, snap. Stand by. Stand by, ladies and gentlemen. I think his phone dropped. He did drop, right? All right.
Oh, there we go. My bad.
There we go. No problem.
Of course, she called when I'm on this damn thing. I had went to, I think we had one field trip. I was going to a middle school in no, it was still elementary, 5th to 6th grade, so elementary out there. We went up to we had a field trip for our 6th grade graduation. We went up to Big Bear Mountains, and that was my first time really out of LA. And I'm like, I'm seeing animals and shit that I had never seen. I'm like, damn, what's really, you know, what is this really going on? I was just dumbfounded to it. So we went to Memphis, and it was crazy because I got in more trouble in Memphis than I did in LA. And I remember my mom told me, she said, because we were in a brand new school, brand new area, and her only words to me, like, she was like, nigga, don't nobody know you. You got a clean record. Don't get in no fucking trouble. That's all that kept ringing in my head. That's the only thing that kept ringing in my head. But so when we got to California, and it wasn't like we was filthy rich, like my mom and them was rich. It was just that the cost of living from Cali to Memphis at the time was night and day. So we had a 2-bedroom house in Compton with one little bathroom in the middle, one full bathroom. But with that house, she was able to buy the mayor's house in Memphis in an area called Red Oaks, Whitehaven. People probably know about that later. And now it's like, damn, Whitehaven, it's like hood now. But at that time, Larry Dotson from the Barcade stayed across the street. Al Green's ex-wife was like 4 houses down the street. So it was a real nice neighborhood. And they thought we were coming out of Cali selling drugs. It was all kind of damn stories about it. They just knew we was these gangster. And every day I was in Memphis scrapping. Got put out of school just because based on the language barrier down in Memphis, if you checking in and out of the school, and it's just how simple shit was. If you checking in and out of the school, that meant in Memphis, it meant for the day. In California, if you checking in and out of school, it meant you're enrolling into that school from a whole new school system. And so that was the thing. So some dude, hey man, you know, it's that man. Hey man. He said, you know, your sister checked out. I'm like, nah, fool, we just checked into school, nigga. And from that point on, it was a big fight, scrapping over that. And I get sent up out there right off the rip because I was the troublemaker at that time. I was like, and all I can remember was, damn, my mama told me don't get in no trouble. But we just didn't click. So I finished high school in Memphis, and as soon as I could, I jetted.
Fresh Prince of Memphis.
I can't hear you.
Sounds like you're the Fresh Prince of Memphis. That's great.
You're on silent right now.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Nah.
Oh, you can't hear me?
I got no vocals.
All right, stand by, guys. Check your speaker setting. Hold
on. Yeah, I ain't got no sound. Let me try it down here.
What about now? No? No.
Mic is on.
Go to settings. Hold on. Yeah. Under audio.
Yeah, I got no sound right now.
Go to audio.
I'll be down.
And speaker. All right. Maybe you can check that. Can you hear me now? All right, hold on.
Mic is good. Camera good. Settings. Audio.
Go to speaker right down there. Audio, then speaker. Speaker might be fucked up.
Go to audio and then speakers. Yeah, I did that.
All right, what about now? Can you hear me now? Is there any others from the drop down?
More audio.
Are there any
settings from my camera?
Others.
Audio.
Under the.
Got the microphone, but I ain't getting no.
Drop down. All right, what about this? Is there any other settings under the speaker drop down?
So I'm on this iPad, so.
Okay. Settings, audio, speaker, then check the output.
Yeah.
All right, right there. Check that right there. Maybe that works. Can you hear me now? Son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's just not pulling up on here.
All right, try this. Try jumping out and back. In.
All right, let me check outside of there. Hold on. Let me go to my settings real quick. Ah, damn.
Yeah, it's got to be on the audio settings somewhere. There we go. See what we got. LA Snow like them girls with the Dazzey Duks. New York, Atlanta. Technical difficulties here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back here shortly. He's using Apple products. I don't think StreamYard's maximized for Apple. I don't know. I'm not an Apple guy. What about now? Can you hear me now?
I got you now.
You can hear me now? All right, perfect. All right.
I don't know
Good
what
deal.
that was.
All right, thanks. Shit happened. All right, thank you for bearing with us there, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get back into it. What is the reason? Why did your family move to Tennessee to begin with? What was the story there?
My grandparents were originally from there, and they just wanted to make a change. I think my mom went to school down there. My aunt moved back first, and so my mom ended up following. I think I cried the whole damn way. And back then, you got to remember now, we didn't have. It was a U-Haul with regulators on them. So you talking about 55, 65. It was 2.5 days. That was a 2.5 day ride.
Over all them bumps
going
over. Oh, dude. I made some of those drives because I was in Arizona for a little bit and I went.
Man.
So I know some of that. Oh my God, dude. That's
going through Texas and shit is like, whew, that's the longest ride ever.
There's nothing in Texas, man. There's
just
spots in Texas, but like
just road forever and day. Yeah. And so that was back then. So no cell phones, you had none of that. You had to figure it out, entertain. So it was me, my stepfather, my grandfather just rode the trip, and my mom they flew back. So
they're lucky dogs get to fly. That's the way I would have just sold everything and bought new stuff with the new place. There's no way, man. I mean, it depends. I guess back then you probably had heirlooms and shit, but yeah, man, that's all. Especially as a kid, I remember because back in '87 we moved from because we're from Ohio. My dad had a job out in Chicago suburbs, and we moved from Chicago in '87 back to Cleveland. And I remember I was like 10. I cried. All that.
Yeah, I didn't want to make that move.
I'll get on the new friends and stuff like that, man. Oh, it's so bad. How long did it when you first got to Tennessee? Did you? I mean, you say you were getting in fights a little bit. I mean, did you have a hard time making friends with the?
But believe it or not, it's 3 cats that I ended up hooking up with who were kind of into music with me a little bit. One was a DJ, and the other 2 used to rap with me. They didn't go into the music like I did, but those same 3 cats, one of them has passed away now. Chris, he passed away, but Marcus Ivy and Corey Owens was the 2 cats that I kind of ended up hooking up with. And since I got to Memphis, and between the 3 of us, I ran with them boys still to this day. They're the same 2 cats that I fuck. When I go to Memphis, they're the only 2 cats that I really fool with down there.
Okay.
So I grew up there and graduated. I think Corey was like 1 year behind us, but we was like a trinity, man. I was in Memphis in the days where 3 dudes we used to dress alike because we thought that was the shit. So you got a Gucci shirt on, polo, shit like that. So yeah, but them same 2 cats. I went to Memphis for Thanksgiving because I got an aunt down there that I still go to see. And same two cats.
Nice.
Same two cats. Yeah. So
nice.
Wasn't no big circuit. Them same three to this day. And I got a first cousin that I fooled with John down there real heavy. So that's it. That's it. Yeah.
Now, was this when you were in high school? Is this when you started getting into the music pretty heavy? What was your first forays into it back then?
Well, in high school, I was that cat beatboxing in the hallways, rap battles, and all that. That was that thing back then. I think I was the first cat in that school got rolled up at lunch for beatboxing too loud in the hallways. So we was going that stairwell back then because you had the echo. And so I just played with it back then. Used to write songs galore, just writing out stuff. Never did anything semi-professionally with it. Nothing recorded, nothing. And so to get out of Memphis, I joined the military. That was my out. And military sent me to South Carolina. Ended up having an accident. They shot me to Augusta, Georgia, because that was the main medical facility. And getting on that post over there, people kept asking me, did I have a brother? Keep in mind, I don't know nobody in the South. I don't have no family down here. They say, hey, man, I seen your brother today. I'm like, brother, who's your brother? And we finally ended up meeting this guy named Anthony Darlington. He was just getting out the military like I was, what you call him, Creole D, who was the other half of Duice. And so we used to go sit on his porch and write records, just play with music all day, come up with different ideas. And we'd be sitting on his porch one day, we was talking about the short shorts. And I think in the South, they call them like hot pants or pom pom shorts or something, he said. And I was like, we call them Dazzey Duks out on the West. So we used to call these from the girl off the Dukes of Hazzard. That's what we used to call it. So he said he knew a guy down in Florida where he was from, in Belglades, Florida. I don't know if you ever heard of that. It's like, man, it's like down towards Miami. It's some shit I had never seen in my life. Never. We went down there. You passing all these rows of like sugar cane, and the cats was at the stores with barefoot, and just it was just a like I didn't know where the fuck we was at. And so we hook up with a guy named Taylor down there, and you got to figure this is the early 90s. So we recorded Dazzey Duks initially on a 4-track. You probably know what that is. So everything we had was on these 4 tracks, and we ended up putting it down onto a cassette tape. So that's all we had when we left Florida was this cassette tape. Get back to Augusta, Georgia, where Fort Gordon was the military base was, and there was a teen club there. And so we just took the cassette tape, knew the DJ guy named Kiki. So we gave to do drinks or whatever it was, some money, just to play the cassette for us. That's that year, So he popped the cassette in, and nobody left the dance floor. It was a teen club, so it was kind of decent. Few people bobbing, nothing major. So we went back again the following week and asked him to play it again. And about that time, maybe the second or third time we played, people would catch on to the hook part where it said that "Come On, Baby." So they started to catch it, and in a couple of weeks, we go to that club, and it was jumping. The floor was getting people on it. Month and a half, 2 in, I would say maybe sometime around there, people start calling the station, asking about the Dazzey Duks record. There was no record. It was a damn cassette tape. That's all we had. So we ended up hooking up with this cat down there and going to a studio and actually professionally record it. And I don't know if you remember the days of Jack the Rapper and How Can I Be Down, these big music conventions that they used to have all over the city. Atlanta, Jack the Rapper was a huge one in Atlanta. And by the time we pressed up records, we took it to this Jack the Rapper, this convention, and then you have all these professional musicians and artists and A&R reps from all the big labels, and you pay to get these records played and let them judge, see how well, hey, that's a good record, that ain't a good record. And every last one I'm telling them, Dazzey Duks, that's a country record. It'll never leave the South. You might do good, Georgia, Alabama. I really wouldn't put a whole lot of money in it. And that was the attitude. We was like, fuck it. We started getting played down in Augusta, started getting a little surrounding areas, and it started picking up. And we started bumping it out of the back of our trunk, selling it out the back of the trunk, just like they did in the old days, just selling to the trunk, dropping off to the record stores and keeping track with it. Started getting attention. Labels start calling us, and we end up going with a record label out in LA. And long story short, we end up selling 4 or 5 million copies of it.
Hell yes, brother.
It went from zero to, and just, we were out there doing our Arsenio Hall show. Good morning, LA. Good morning Atlanta. And it opened up the doors for bass music, because at that time, Luke was probably one of the main ones getting any type of international recognition at that time because bass hadn't moved to the Midwest like that, hadn't moved West Coast like that. It wasn't a thing out there. So it kind of opened up a whole lot of doors. Detroit was huge for us. Some of them other markets up there, we just blew it up. Cleveland, Ohio, was all through there and everything. And it was funny because we ended up getting booked on a show back in LA. Now, keep in mind, from LA, but I'm representing the South with this record. So we fly all the way out to LA, and we're the only bass group. Keep in mind, now I had the girls with the Dazzey Duks, cross colors, so we bright colors, flashy shit and everything. You go to LA, and it's all gangster groups on this show. Only groups on this show was Tupac, Eazy-E, NWA. It was Ice-T, Ghetto Boys, Radio, Joe Cooley. I think Scarface also was all gangster groups, and here we come with these bright ass colors and shit. it was out of pocket. But when we hit the stage, they rushed that motherfucker. They rushed the goddamn stage because Dazzey Duks was jumping back then. It was hitting, and they rushed that shit. So we killed out in LA. We murdered it out there. All West Coast, we murdered it.
Hell yeah, man. All right, so back to the high school there. Did you play any sports? And what were some of your... didn't play no sports, huh? Okay.
I ran track for a little bit early on, thought about football, but never jumped into it. Never jumped into sports and nothing like that. I was just trying to get out.
Okay. And back in high school, everybody always harkens back to the high school. That's why I remember your song from. I mean, I was a sophomore, and they would just play in the radio, and between that and then the Pistol Grip Pump and all, there was like 3-4 songs by smaller artists. No, I don't want to call you small. You know what I'm saying? You're right. And they would just we just played them over and over again. And back then it would be like you said on the radio. So whatever back then was Jamie 92.3, whatever they played, we would play, and they would definitely play some Dazzey Duks. And so like, what were some of your high school music? You were what, probably late 80s then? Were you like LL and all them, or what was some of the
as far as stuff I listened to?
Yeah.
Growing up the way I did, and like I say, the same cat Marcus Ivy. Of course, I listened to the LLs and the Beastie Boys and the Run DMCs and stuff like that. That was, of course, a big play on it. But I remember my guy Marcus Ivy had me out there one day, and he had just bought this little Celica, and we were out riding around, and he put in a record, believe it or not, and this is totally nothing to do with rap. It was the OJ's, a song called Ship Ahoy. I don't know if you've ever heard this record. It's about the slave ship, so it has all this sound going on. It talks about the slave trade and all this kind of stuff. And that was like one of the first soul records like that I had caught. And ever since then, they started fiddling with this Al Green and the Bobby Womack and Johnny Taylor. So even to this day, probably my biggest music is the R&B and blues, Muddy Waters and Eric Clapton. That's the stuff I listen to all day. I'll put hip hop on when I'm working out and stuff like that. But if I'm riding, people know you're gonna catch some of that blues and temps or whoever they may be. I'm big on that's the kind of stuff I was kind of programmed into early on during high school.
Oh, yeah. My mom was. I always got a lot from my parents, because I think in the era we're in now, the 50s through 90s were probably like the last, a little bit in the 2000s, but there's only so much you can go musically in terms of rock, in terms of R&B, rap, whatever. There's only so much you can do musically. So like, I got a lot of stuff because like my parents are boomers, me and you are Gen X. We get from our parents. So I would listen to a lot of. My mom loved Motown. She loved Motown. Yeah,
Motown sound. Yeah.
The Beach Boys. She loved the Beach Boys, and I just took that and some of the Stones and started liking rock and roll a little bit. That was hair metal back then.
I love the 80s rocks now. Even stuff you start talking about stuff like even like the Motley Crues and the Axl Rose and stuff. I listen. I have a whole playlist with all that type of stuff. So I still love stuff like Rage Against the Machine, groups like that. I still bump a lot of that stuff to this day too. I just like music, music, the sound. That's what I'll get into.
Yes, sir, Jay. It was a fucking jam at the club, boy. I got the ass fucking popping, son. God, that would get the asses popping. We'll get into some of that all day, brother, all day. All right, so why did you join the Army out of high school and that,
trying to get away? That was my escape. That was my escape. That was my only damn reason. No other reason but to get out. I knew that, and I knew college wasn't really my thing like that. So instead of me getting in some damn trouble and doing dumb shit. Because I go back now and see some of the same cats doing the same shit. I'm like, dude, you ain't even left this motherfucker yet, and they get trapped. And I know a lot of people like that. They'll grow up in a neighborhood or a city and never leave. I'm like, dude, it's so much more to this shit than Memphis or LA or Augusta. It's a whole damn world. So, you know, with the Dazzey Duks and some of this stuff, I'm able to travel like that. So I just saw a whole lot in it and to open your eyes up. So, you know, I was blessed to be able to get out and touch some of those other cultures and shit like that. Oh, yeah, but yeah, I had to get out. I had to get out.
All right, now, before you left for basic training, had you seen Full Metal Jacket yet?
Yeah, I saw Full Metal Jacket.
Okay. Yeah. What was your basic training experience like? I mean, you were in the 80s, so it was before Desert Storm. I mean, did they tell legends of Mr. T chopping down trees?
No, I didn't get to it because once I finished early on, I ended up having that accident.
Oh, okay.
So I never even fully made it into my AIT. They ended up relocating me to Augusta, and I ended up over in a medical hold for damn near a year or so, somewhere around a year, I guess. And they end up like they'll reassign you, so you're just doing duty station until they can figure out what they're gonna do with you. So they basically medically retired me after that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I ended up getting medical retired. So I still go in. I get like these crazy fucking migraines nowadays. I had to get injections in my head and shit. I don't know what the hell they gave me. I don't know what they put in me, but shit. But so, yeah, I'm in VA every 3 months getting shots in my head and shit.
Yeah, the guy who looked just like me works for VA during his day job. So it's
yeah, man, that shit had me. But it was a good experience for me. It got me where I needed to be. It got me out, and I was able to see some other stuff. So I'll tell any young cat just getting out of high school, I don't care, dude, go. You're gonna see something. Now, even if you don't stay into it, they're gonna get you out of that neighborhood. They're gonna expose you. Some of these cats is going all the way overseas, some shit they would have never done on their own, and it opens them up. So, you know, and then outside of, you know, you get the GI Bill and get some college if that's what you're trying to do, or go into a field in the military that you can transition to right outside of the military. If you're doing medical stuff, people, they will snatch the military up real quick because they know they got that training and that type of conditioning structure. So they'll
100%, man. I mean, how many times they'll run the hiring fairs just for veterans? I mean, just the benefits alone are worth it. It's just so much worth it. I mean, my goodness. We talked about the culture mixing. I mean, you'll get to see people from different parts of the country. You know, some people never get out of their neighborhood. They never stay. I know people here in Ohio, they maybe flown twice in their entire life, and they're, you know, almost 50, 60 years. And so you get to meet different, how they talk, how they act. You get to laugh at them, joke with them, bond. The discipline alone is worth it too, I think. I mean, it just schedule, you know.
Absolutely. So yes, it was a plus for me. So I enjoyed it.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Now, so when you was at the Medhold Squadron or wherever you was doing there, and you said it was
Fort Gordon.
Fort Gordon, okay, Georgia. Were you guys doing? That's when the music kind of started.
That's where I met Creole at. We were. I think I might have had just gotten out somewhere around that time. He was processing out somewhere in that deal. And like I said, we were on his porch just fooling around one day, and I think that's when we ended up driving down to Belle Glade and doing the rough track. Yeah. So we used to hang out on post for quite a while, and then we just got to know each other and just clicked up. You know, people thought we was brothers, so we started lying. Yeah, that's my brother over there. So, we just roll with it. Shit. Yeah, that's my brother. Yeah.
Right, and then if they get all technical, we're just really close, man. Like real brothers, you know how it is. I feel it.
Yeah, that ain't gonna dig too deep. Yeah.
All right, now it sounds like you didn't like the name, the group name Duice when they first started. What would you have called it? Were there any names that you wanted to do that like got shot down? What was the other?
No, I didn't want to do a group name because one, it disguises your personal name. So like the Duice name is larger than the LA Sno or the Creole D for all intents and purposes, where we get the LA Sno Creole D. But one of the guys from the label, we need a group name. Fuck it. So they end up settling. We just roll with the Duice thing. So I'm cool with it. You know, the Duice thing got us where it got, but it'll kind of shadow. So anything I try to do now, of course, you know, being related to the Duice, but the LA Sno name has been able to stand as long as I did other big records behind that. But you want to be instantly, because even if you Google my name, then Wikipedia is going to take you straight to the Duice page. So it's cool. I'm not complaining about it. But if I had my way in the beginning, I would have did that different. I would have spelled it wrong because they were worried about copyrights on the name. So that's why I spelled DAZZEY DUKS. I'm like, that was the dumbest shit ever to me. Ducks, because it almost looked like Dazzey Duks or something. I like, but you know, when you're dealing with labels and shit and they arguing about it, here you are just with your ideal. And when we put money into it, we want to do it XYZ. So I just never was cool with the name. So I just thought the name just looked crazy. It sold, it did what it was supposed to do, no doubt. But just those little things that in hindsight that forever just plague your mind. Like,
well, it's so funny because like as Gen X guys, we're grammar is just beating at our skulls. And that was actually one of my questions. How did the spelling go?
Yeah,
was it because of trademark stuff? And you look at it, it does look like Dazzey Duks or Dizzy Duck. And you're like, why is this? At least put the E in the last word. You know, at least like that.
Did they leave a letter off or some shit? But it was one of them things. I'm like, you know, we could have just went to DAZZEY DUKS and it would have been no different. It would have been just as well because she was DASY. And she actually came out for the second video, believe it or not. She was in the second one that we did. You know, we did our version of it first, which had ass strippers shaking. It was what Dazzey Duks was. We shot it in Augusta, Macon, and Atlanta. Plenty ass in that video was what it was. But of course, when the label in California got hold of it, and I guess their version took it on a bigger scale because they watered it down a whole lot. Definitely was not mine or Creole's treatment or ideal for it. But when the label says, hey, we doing this, they fly you out there, they want to do the clothes, you kind of, especially at that time, you didn't have a whole lot of kickback for shit like that. So they shot their version of it. It did what it did. Like say David Faustino for Married with Children, he was in the video. The original Catherine Bach from Dazzey Duks, she flew in for the video. So for all intents, it did what it's supposed to do. But for me and Creole, we were like, that ain't really our vision. But you know, what can you do?
I mean, we're gonna touch. We're jumping ahead there. You got a couple. You've done this before. This isn't your first interview. I can tell. All right. Now, was there a specific woman or girl or group of girls that inspired the initial song, or was it just general conversation?
It was just general conversation. Now, Dazzey Duks was in our mindset for it, of course. That's what we used to call them out there. So that part was, but we used to see them all summer. I mean, it was just like say in the South, they call them hot pants or poom poom shorts and everything. So yeah, different names. Dazzey Duks just gave it a name across the board. I think the industry, they said, generated over $1 billion+ in that first year in Dazzey Duks shorts. We didn't know any better as new artists. Trademark the name, copyright, do something. But you know, that was two 19, 20-year-olds going into shit blind, you know. And when you got these type of labels out there, it's not like when you got two young cats coming into it like that, they finna, and I preach this message now. Nobody who is in a position to make money off of you is gonna tell you how to keep your money. They just not gonna do the shit. And that's kind of how all that happened. Now, me and Creole, we made a killing on the road, but when it slowed down, we started reading paperwork. We like, hold on. Well, we didn't have cell phone, but like, hold on, dog. Wait a minute, some shit ain't right. You looking at paperwork like, and I think our cut ended up being a 5% cut split after everything is recouped. So that means if we sell $100, we get $5 after the CDs are paid for, after the videos are paid for, after the clothing is paid for, after everything is paid for. Then whatever's left, you get out of your $5. And so that's how myself, a lot of these early artists were they, you know, a lot of them filed bankruptcy. I mean, you hear the fucking stories, the Tony Braxtons and the TLCs. Not so it's ain't like we was a long range on this shit. We were just part of that didn't have that education, and nor did we have the lawyers say, hey, keep your money. This is what you need to do. We were just as blindsided as anybody. So them bastards, they ripped the shit out of us back then. Because you got to figure like. You got to figure like this. Even if our album only sold $1 million, just say it just did 1 million, period, nothing else, which we did way more than that, of course. But for easy number, and back then an album sold for what, $15.99, $18.99. Just say for easy number, even if you did 1 million, that's $15 million on the low end. And we have a bill. How the fuck you give us a bill?
Well, you think back, LA. They'll think back to like Elvis, and you watch the Elvis biopic, and what has there ever been a real time? I know this is a weird thing to say, but has there ever been a real time when labels weren't taking advantage of artists? It seems like you have the same story in the 50s, 60s, 70s. No. It seems like it never changes.
No, you would have these labels putting their names on artist records as writers, producers, which happened to us. But the music industry, I kind of realized it wasn't early on. It wasn't designed for the artists to make their money off of sales. Y'all go out and do your shows and shit. That's the money you're gonna make. Anything coming in, you had to be into your second, third good album if you survive before you can start making a deal with them.
Think of the money you guys would have made if they had the like TikTok shops or like
shit.
Just shorts alone. You can write, you write LA on one cheek and Snow on the other, and fucking say this.
Yeah,
man.
Had Dazzey Duks been out in this era, which I love the way the artists are doing now, because once TikTok or internet gets a hold of it, you know, you can't stop what's organic. So if it blows up, it blows up. I don't need the fucking label to tell me this record gonna blow up. If it blows up, the public gonna tell me, because they scanning, they running my shit, they tweeting it, they doing their little TikTok videos and shit too. And now you got these labels coming to me saying, man, that record blowing up. What you want to do? What can we do? Whereas in our day, it was a guess. Yeah, we think we got a good record. Well, we're going to put the money up, then we're going to get the biggest piece of the pie. Okay. The game changed. So I like the way it game, because you don't have record stores no more. You don't really have record labels. Like, everything's just a glorified fucking production company if you can get it out there like that. And these cats are making good money now, because they control a lot more of it, which I applaud that shit. I ain't salty. I did what I did learn, but I like the direction where they getting their money now.
Oh yeah, you got to cut out all possible middlemen.
Yeah.
Just go right to the
cut all that shit out. Yep, cut them out.
100%. All right, now your haircut in the video was like a flat top style back then, and now you got your hair is clearly longer. At what point did you start? You know, describe your hairstyle history from the video till now.
Now it's just dreaded, because what happened was a partner of mine named Hollywood that I fucked with, one of my homeboys, he out in Memphis, and he moved down here because we working on some project down here. So Wood, we had a bet going for some shit. I forgot what the damn bet was back then, but he had dreads at the time, and the point was bitch, if you lose, I'm cutting your shit off. And on my end, like, you can't never cut your hair again. And they knew how tedious I was about lying up and keeping my hair, so that would have been an issue for me. So we're like, well, you ain't gonna be able to cut your hair no more if you lose. I end up winning the bet, shaved it, I end up winning the bet, ended up keeping my dreads, and he ended up cutting his shit off anyway. So to this day, he's still bald.
That's
so
great. Yeah, I'm jealous of anybody with hair, because all my people know I'm follically challenged for quite a long time, and so I wear the baseball hats. But
mine came because I literally just lost the bet. That was it. I lost the bet. Now I said if this shit go to missing on the top right here, then yeah, I gonna shave it. I'm not gonna be one of them cats walking around with a hole standing right here and
you don't lucky horseshoe, right? Lucky horseshoe.
I ain't gonna do that. So yeah, that was the only reason I ended up growing. Just lost the bet and just ended up keeping them.
Okay.
Yeah. 20 years.
Now the video for this song, I had to watch it a couple times to make sure I got it right. Yeah, it's a great video.
Which one? Which version did you watch?
I watched the version with Catherine Bach in that.
Okay, so that's the watered down version.
That's okay. Damn, yeah. I didn't know there's another version. I have to go, because it's kind of like almost lost media, because you guys don't have like a thing where it's at, and it was on like some YouTube random channel. I didn't even recognize the channel name.
Yeah, I got a page with everything on there on the LA Snow on my YouTube and all that. But that is the actual watered down version, which I don't even. Truthfully, I don't even push that one like that, because I never liked it. Never okay with it. So the real one is on my YouTube. So
the real one and the watered down one, are they spliced together? Like, was this?
No, two totally different videos. The first one we shot on our own. We did all the video. We did edit. We did that 100% on our own. And on do you remember what was it? The Box.
Remember yeah. Channel 32 in Cleveland. Yep.
Man, we used to eat that with that first version, #1, week after week, month after month. Dazzey Duks was the hottest shit on that for a long time. Then they came to this watered down version. I think that's when some of the other shows, I don't think BT even wanted to play it at that time. Even the watered down version, because you got to remember, around that time it was still kind of funny on showing the ass, and I think we were kind of going up against what's the guy with Rump Shaker. he had that song out, so they let him slide after a while, but he had a bigger name, and then they kind of let us slide after the fact. So we got on BT Uncut, and then they started running it decently regular after a good while. But it was a bass record, so to the country, it was still new. It was still something like, what is this bass? What is this shit? So a lot of people just didn't. New York, one of the markets, believe it, they didn't want to play the record. New York, totally not. We're not playing this country shit. We literally went into New York and bought advertisement on the radio as a commercial. We had to buy commercial spots, play the record as a commercial, and throw in there where to go get it at. And we end up selling hundreds of thousands out of New York. Did plenty of shows up there. But back then, remember, New York kind of controlled everything. New York controlled the radio. So what New York said is what everybody else did. Yeah. And once we started bumping that record, we even opened up New York.
Okay. Now, in the video I saw, the version I saw, Catherine Bach herself was in the video. So I got a lot of questions on this one. You said, I think you touched about some of this earlier. You guys shot this all in Augusta and Macon?
The watered down version we shot back in Los Angeles.
Oh,
that whole version was in LA. That version we did in LA.
Okay.
Out there on the beach with Power 106 and all them out there. I forget what was his name. I can't think of the guy from the radio. I can't even remember his name, but he was in the video as well. But we shot that. The watered down version was in LA. The version we shot was Atlanta, Augusta, and Macon.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, you had like an agency for all the talent then out in LA, right? For all the models.
Yeah, exactly. That's that other shit where you don't have no control over. They do the record label set all that up.
Okay. Now, did the agency also get a hold of Catherine Bach, or they did all
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because the guy who owned that label, if you remember, Stax Records from back in the day. Stax Records was out of Memphis, had Sam and Dave. I think they had all these, like some of the Isaac Hayes stuff was on there. They was huge back then. The guy who ran that label actually ran Bellmark Records out of LA. So he was one of them cats who was already saturated in the game, old school. So he knew people connects, knew how to run labels, and that's pretty much how that connected. And he probably, he had all those little tabs.
Okay. Now, what was Catherine's response to the song? Did she like it?
She loved it. Yeah. I think at the time she was over in Africa and flew all the way back for it. Oh, now, of course, we probably paid for that shit, but she was over there filming something at the time and flew back.
That was one of the line items on the 95% they stole from me. That's so
exactly. Got to pay for her flight, first class all the way, Delta One.
My goodness, that's why LA. I don't do any. That's why I keep my shit is like everything's out of my pocket. Everything's under my auspices. Yeah, because I'm not trying to hear some jackass network and whatever, dude. I'm just having fun. We're out here vibing. I don't give a fuck about these companies.
The more you can control, and nothing I learned after is it's better to have 100% of a small pie than 2% of this huge pie, and you ain't got shit for it. It's like I'd rather control what I can control than me selling 2 billion copies and you give me a point on this shit. And I'm like, let me control my record. Let me control my stuff. So that's like I said, that's why I like the age we are in now, because these cats can kind of make their money, and they making it. They make it.
Oh, yeah. But DC Glenn himself told me he'd rather have 100 loyal customers who are going to get everything you want as opposed to 10,000 random people who barely check you out. So
yeah, DC, that's my guy. Yeah, matter of fact, DC will probably tell you that the Dazzey Duks record paid for the tag team record.
Yes, sir. Both back to back, both staples, boy.
And it was able to promote that tag team video, so they came right behind us.
DC knows a lot about random shit. Like he knows a lot about like search engines and he's a sharp guy. I really like DC. He's a good dude.
DC cool cat. Yeah, he cool cat.
All right, now David Faustino, Bud Bunny himself was in this the watered down version of the video. Did you guys get to kick it with him, or was it just like
it wasn't like they won't no superstar shit. It was a cool vibe all the way around. There was so much going on. Of course, you didn't have a whole lot of time. It was a 2-day shoot with sets and building and moving around and everything. But it was not like it was no awkward vibe at all. They were pretty cool.
Okay. Did he? Well, you're not really a partier. Did David Faustino? Was he partying at all, or he was just a regular 18-year-old?
Back then, I didn't know. We only were pretty much strictly around the set and everything. So I didn't know him outside of none of that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know the song "What's Up, What's Up." Now, I never realized that this song was used. This is kind of cool when I was researching all this stuff. I remember this song because when I was in San Antonio, back in '96. I was there for tech school for the Air Force, for the Air Guard.
Mm-hmm.
And they used to play, it was 96.5 was the station. It was the urban hits or whatever. And that was when I was really into rap and Tupac and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And they used to have the greeting part of the show, and they go, "What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?" And then they would say the thing, and then you get to shout out your people. Now, that video was pretty badass. It was, I'm not gonna lie, that video was like looked like it was just you partying at a Georgia park.
Man, let me tell you, that video, when I tell you, that video was, to this day, is probably one of my most excitable records to even perform, video wise, because you talking about when we did that was for the So Def Bass All Stars album. That was their first All Star bass record project, and that was the lead song for us, me and Player Poncho. But when we shot that video, we shot part of it out there in Piedmont Park. So we just did an open call. So we just did an open calling thing. You talking about Lil Jon, Escape, Tiny was there, fucking what's the other girl name? I forget her name that quick. Candy from Escape was there. Shy D, B-Rock and the Biz, Houdini, Jermaine Dupri, Kizzy Rock, all of the bass artists was out there. It was just one big ass party. And if you look at it, you can see we're just in the open. So we did a couple other shots elsewhere, but that scene, everybody bought their cars out, lined them up. We had the motorcycles out there. It was literally just a big party. And when that shit was over, took it straight back to my house. I mean, we was all night. No videos.
Okay,
no
so
YouTube back then, so.
Were people really partying? I mean, it was an actual party in between the shoots, and you didn't just say, "Hey, everybody dance now." I mean,
it was literally just a big. They rolled camera, threw the music on, and people was going. It was going. It was automatic, because that whole what's up thing was a club thing down here in Atlanta. So they used to do this battle dance, not really battle dance. I think it was a battle dance, but they had their own. Atlanta had their own dance style. And part of that, when people got in their circle, they were like, they were, what's up? What? And that's how they used to kind of hype each other. That's called yeeking or something. So they would do it off of this record and do it. And it was huge. And I had never heard of it. I had just heard the hook and everything. And then we decided to put the shit to record. It was just something we decided to do. And me and Poncho walked off in that thing and popped it out. I think we went gold on that one real quick. Real fast on that. It was just a party record. And to this day, like I say, it still get people jumping. There's nowhere I'm going to go and not hear that record, especially down here.
Oh, 100%. All right. Now, you stated in the prior interviews that you've never smoked weed. Now, I'm a big weed guy. You may have seen me smoking weed today. Now, is this still the case? You're still not smoking weed?
Yeah, I'm just not a weed person. I think the same cat Hollywood, this motherfucker right here, and they were them dudes on the road who smoked out. I'm talking about Wake and Bake the 4-9, and that was the one time I smoked. Was he had me out there, and they was, man, you don't never. I said, okay, fuck it. One time, went there and smoked some weed. I think I probably did I guess it was still the little cigarettes back then or whatever. And I'm smoking this shit, and I'm like, okay, now what? What's supposed to happen now? Never got high, like, I'm not gonna waste my money on this bullshit. I'm not, and I just never got nothing out of it. And to this day, I don't like the smell. So like, I throw parties at the crib. People know, you can't bring that shit over here. They'll take it way in the back somewhere. But it just ain't.
That'd be me. But like, that'd be me. Like, where's the furthest back of the party? Well, I mean, when you go to parties, within 2 seconds, you can tell who the weed smokers are.
Right.
Because usually they don't have a drink in their hand. They're just kind of standing around looking for the first guy to go, hey, anybody?
Yep, gotta smoke. Yeah. And I roll with cats who do it all damn day. It was never my thing.
That's me, man. I do weed quite a bit. I retired from the service in 2015. Ever since then, I mean, it's probably been 2-3 days have gone by that I haven't smoked or done edible or something. I love me some weed.
Yeah, I don't knock them, but like I say, yeah, I just don't fool with it. Ain't never been my thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, you gotta be a productive person by nature if you want to smoke and have it work for you to smoke all day. I mean, if you're a slob, it's gonna make you lazy as fuck anyways. But who knows?
And then go ahead.
Oh, then go ahead.
No, I was just saying, and back then I ended up getting custody of my daughters, so I didn't have them around that shit, and that's what kind of slightly started pulling me away from it a lot. I think on the last record I knew we was in the studio, and I think we was in there with Luda and them doing some stuff, and them cats come. This cat say I'm high right now. He said I'm high right now, and and I'm talking. I had custody of my daughter to the point where it wasn't like I can go drop her off somewhere and go do my thing. I'm talking about full custody because I didn't have family down here. Her mom in Florida, so I'm in the studio trying to go in there record with her in a little baby seat, and these cats in here smoking. And here I'm saying, hey man, y'all gotta stop smoking. That shit just not. It wasn't gonna work because I didn't want them to smoke around my babies and shit. So it just kind of pulled me further and further. So I had to just be more selective about the shit that I started doing after the fact because it just didn't work for me. So
I feel you. I got kids myself, and I'm a lot more progressive on the views of smoking with the kids. The kids are used to it. I don't smoke with them all the time, but if they got to come out here and talk and I'm smoking, whatever. It's they're if you could be in a room with smoke, it's going to open up so much more opportunities on the back end in this world we're going to be in. Because people don't know, man. In 10, 20 years, this content creation is going to be huge because it's a service-based economy. These younger kids, they're not going to the trades. Look at the average age of the tradesmen. So you got to follow the money on that stuff. So this content creation,
and that's the thing. Even when you talk about drugs and let's say specifically weed, that's the issue I have with these motherfuckers. Been making millions, and they've been making their money locking cats up for decades over this weed shit. Now, since the government figured out a way to we can control it, just like the alcohol prohibition. When we figure out how we can put a seal on this bitch and tax them, now it's okay for y'all to do. What about all these motherfuckers still locked up over the same bullshit weed? That's the issue. I got a big issue with that type of shit. That's fucked up.
Hey, if I was president, governor, whatever, first day, everybody who's been charged with the weed offense,
they should be out. Anybody got a weed conviction, I'd be let out immediately. I don't give a fuck what the time was, because how you say now it's okay because I get to make money off of it. That's the government.
Right. Straight up the government. All right, now you were huge in the bass culture of the 90s, obviously. Did you ever get pulled over with like a noise pollution ticket, or were you kind of like laid back when you were off stage? What was your
No, I didn't. And back then I had bought me back then that kitted up Corvette that's in the What's Up video. When I had bought that was probably one expense that I did because I was never like super frivolous with money. But that was my one gift to myself. So I bought that Corvette, took it straight to the shop, gutted it out. I don't think I even drove that thing 30 miles before I dropped it off. And I had them gut the interior pearl white, wood grain it out, put a triple coat pearl white on the outside, Antera rims, the false gate hood, Testarossa kit. If you go look at that video, you'll see that Corvette in there. That was my one splurge right there. So I put some money into that after that. Now I was good. Moved to switch over to Atlanta and just bought a crib.
Okay. Now, speaking of the stage, it's no secret that the song is a banger, and this has got to be a strip club staple. Right now, when I talked to this guy DJ Assault a couple years ago, that song "Ass Titties," ass. I think he's out of Detroit. He said they never really went to the club. Like, did you have your fun times in titty bars, or were you kind of there for like?
That's how we broke records back then. No, the strip club was a major scene in our time coming up because that's how we broke records. You go to the DJ, play it in the strip clubs, get them some drinks, pay them. You gonna know if you got a hit or not because them strippers gonna let you. If the shit is bumped, they gonna let you know if it's jumping. They gonna be out there shaking that ass. We literally broke records. That was probably not a week back then. I was also mad heavy in that damn strip scene because one, it was part of the game. Two, I just like what I see. So we did that weekly. If we was in town, we was at Nicky's, we was at Magic, we was somewhere at somebody's strip clubs. That was just the thing. Half them bras in some of them videos, strippers, shit.
I'm not gonna lie. I can't wait to watch the other version. I know there are 2 videos of it. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. We found strippers in all 3 of them cities and put them in that video.
That's awesome, man. All right.
The club scene was heavy for us. Now I ain't been to a damn strip club in probably plus 15 years or better. It just ain't my deal no more. I haven't had my time with that shit. I'm not gonna pay to watch no broad shake her ass, so I ain't do that for free.
Right. It's funny because like I remember the time I had my days and when I would go to the titty bar all that, I'm kind of because back then you'd see all these old guys in there, and I'm thinking I'm kind of the opposite. Like the older I get, the less the places the feeling are I get.
Yep. So I'll leave that for the other cats. I'm not gonna pay to see no ass. So
all right,
yeah.
All right. Now you've stated you're friends with Emmanuel Lewis, who was Webster. Now, how did this come about? And is that guy a partier?
Oh no, Marty. No. Manny got a good head on the show. He ain't no party cat like that. He's gonna come over like when we do barbecues or 4th of July and stuff like that. Matter of fact, we having a dinner tomorrow. It's usually a group of 4 of us who hang pretty decent. So I'll run him out to lunch tomorrow. But Manny, I met Manny in '93 in Atlanta. Him and his brother Chris actually we were playing a celebrity basketball game for V103, and that's how we initially met.
Okay.
I think his brother at the time was working for Showtime, and Manny was still heavy on his entertainment stuff at the time. And me and Chris started hanging out for some reason, and then we had to go over to Manny's house for some reason, and he wanted to. They were talking about building a studio in the back of Manny's house, and so me, him, and his brothers, and then we sit there gutted this little. He had a whole nother house behind the house, and we ended up gutting this whole thing up, subflooring. I mean, dump money into this thing, and we just started doing stuff in there. And we just ended up for some. I don't even be honest to you how we got that damn cool. But we were like vibes on so much shit. You know, that's probably to this day probably one of the better friends that I got. You know, he probably one of the few people got keys to my damn house, and vice versa. It's just, you know, him, his mom, when I was going through my whole thing with getting custody of my daughter, because that shit was a mess. Of course, you know, they trying to sue for money. And here I am saying, no, it ain't that. It's just, I don't want to be with her, so why I can't have, but it was a big thing. So her mom, she walked me down on a whole lot of stuff and supported that type of stuff. We just ended up getting cool over the years. And to this date, it's like, you know, that's my guy.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
All right, we got a couple questions from, we got a chat from Duice. He says, what do you think of today's rap scene?
I'm not a fan of some of the explicit nature of it. Because even in our day, you know, we would do 2 versions, clean version. Nowadays, they fuck it. We ain't gonna even do no clean version. We just putting shit out there, and the radio can kind of edit out. I think just because of the direction of music. Now, I will say this: I get it. Don't get me wrong, I get it. But I do think there's a how I want to say this. There's a situation out there where black music is being exploited, and it's kind of really fucking up black culture. Let me go and say it like this. These Negroes out here, they feel like they have to live the shit that they hearing these artists do, and 9 out of 10 them artists ain't doing that shit. They pushing it, promoting it. You know, they teaching fuck your man, or fuck that bitch, or, you know, don't trust the hoe. All these things that we promoted, and it just continues provides distance, and it causes breakup in relationship because nobody wants to deal with shit. These females out here now, oh, I gotta have a 6-figure motherfucker. Bitch, you got 3 kids with 3 baby daddies, and none of these niggas work, but now you need a 6-figure cat. And it's like we putting this shit in these people's heads, and it's like that's just not the reality. 90% of these bras you see on here doing be busting. They ain't never been to a roof Chris, but now you want me to take you to Roof Chris. Bitch, you don't even eat steak. You was a vegetarian last week. So I think what's going on with the music is degrading as shit. I get it. We gonna push what we gonna push. You can't tell people what they ain't gonna do. You can't tell them not to. They gonna do it any damn way. I think it's up to, like, you know, parents and shit like that to guide their damn children, because at the end of the day, it still starts at the house. I got daughters right now, and to this day, I don't play certain music around them. They 32 and 26. I'm not finna get in a car with them and they gonna hear fuck that bitch and kiss my day. Now, y'all can listen to that shit all you want to outside, and I know they probably do, but I'm not finna be in front of my daughters on that level of respect, because then that kind of crosses their line. These parents nowadays, they want to be their kids' best friends, so these bitches out here twerking with their daughters in videos. I'm like, that's why this bitch don't respect you. You know, you got these mamas raising these little boys, allowing them to do what the fuck ever. Now he don't respect you. Now mama bitch and fuck her. He gonna dog your ass out later on. And that's what tends to happen. To this day, my parents and all them, those are lines we just don't cross. But I think with this generation and the direction it's going, and the inclusion of like video and internet and the TikToks, they being programmed to normalize all this shit. And truthfully, it's not normal. We programming this shit to normalize. Say, no, this is the norm. And these kids, they don't know how to decipher this shit. They don't know, but that's all they see. I was in a me and my daughter went to a restaurant the other day, hibachi, before Christmas. Took them out to go eat, her and a little guy and everything. And little couple sitting, the baby started crying. First thing they did, not try to console the baby. This bro went out to her car and brought the iPad back and set it in front of the little baby. This baby could have been a year, but they don't get it. It's give them some shit to take their mind. I ain't got time for it. And that's the disconnect. These motherfuckers are so socially illiterate. It's ridiculous. These kids don't even know how to hold conversations.
Oh, dude, the in the lockdowns exacerbated a lot of this shit. It took that shit. Fuck, there's a lost generation.
Man, they are disconnected. And
I think that's the people are always asking me, why do you think you're getting rid of TikTok? I think that's the reason. I mean, look at the proof is in the pudding, LA. If you look at when TikTok first came out, when it came over from China with the bike dance company back in 2018, things or whatever. Since 2018, you never had any of this, blue hair pronouns bullshit. You never had none of that before then.
But
nowadays, it's normalized on TikTok. And this is me conspiracy talking. That's why I think the government's so on top of this. You never see Democrats or Republicans ever get along on anything. They're carte blanche ready to get the fuck.
They do. It's the point. Keep everybody divided. That's the whole point. That's the whole point to Democrats. Keep everybody divided. As long as these motherfuckers is confused and we got chaos going on, we can keep controlling them. The crazy thing we say about that TikTok shit is, China regulates their shit.
Yeah, they don't have the same
regulation. How long they can see it, and they filter out all that bullshit. They don't even get to see that stuff. So why are we so wide open with it?
Exactly. Subversion, man. That's why they're getting rid of it.
Yeah.
All right, we got a question from Duice. He says, what UK rap music have you ever been into?
Actually, what I did was, I used to hashtag the UK all the time. I did a alternative rock album. That's what I kind of, when I came after the Baby Daddy record, that's when I kind of sat down, because that's when I had Taylor. So after that, I just kind of backed away. And when I decided to even touch music again, this was fucked up part, was right before COVID. I had put a 4-piece band together, put the EP together. It's out there on iTunes right now. It's called Bass Rock. And it's a live album. The only thing I did was I did incorporate that 808 up under all this live to still tie me into the bass music. But I was out there doing it. I didn't want it to associate it with my bass music. I was trying to make it organic enough to stand on its own. So I went out with a guy named Moses Mo, a good friend of mine, and he's from the band. How did I just forget the name of that thing? Mother's Finest.
Okay.
The rock band Mother's Finest. And of course, they worldwide. So me and this guy are pretty tight. So he started taking me out on some shows with him and allowed me to open up for him. And I was standing my ground with the shows real good. And because for me, the rock shit is just as high energy as this bass music. So it didn't compromise how I performed. It was right on. It just fit. And so I started hashtagging the stuff, some of the bass rock stuff, and I would hashtag UK. And actually, that's where I was getting hits from, was the UK with some of this live alternative rock stuff that I was doing. But then COVID hit, and the promoter that Moses Mo had been dealing with, she called me to do like 2 or 3 shows on my own off on some other stuff. I'm like, cool, we walking with this shit. And as soon as we did that, maybe 3 weeks into the show, she called. She said, hey, Sno, what's going on? Hey, she said, we're going to have to cancel the show because some virus is going on and they're not going to let us do the show. They're going to have to close the club. I'm like, all right, fuck it. All right, book it for next month. We'll try it. Of course, 1 month came, 2 months, 2 months, and then a year, 2 years later. And about that time, these cats have to get off into their own thing and start doing stuff. So it's not dead and buried. The EP is still on iTunes. I just haven't been out pushing it like that. I've been doing other stuff and just hadn't been able to push it like that. But that was my target, going to the UK and Japan with that. I know Germany had like a big alternative rock market over there. So I was really trying to touch on a lot of that overseas stuff. So it just never jumped off. But,
never know.
I would have loved to get into that market. I still have that little, if I was go back into music, it would still be on the rock stuff.
Oh, the UK is badass, man. You got to get there.
Yeah. That's where I would want to go. Okay. Take that music over there. Because I love, like, say, the Rage Against the Machines and stuff like that. So it's on that level. Red Hot Chili Peppers is that type of alternative rock. Yes, that's what it puts you in the mindset of.
Okay. At some point in your career, it appears you were a fitness trainer. What sort of training or workouts do you enjoy or specialize in?
Well, I still do that to this day. I ended up, when I slowed down, like I said, when I ended up getting my little girl's thing, I was kind of slowing down. And I had money saved up, so it wasn't no big rush. Started getting bored and shit, start working out. And she probably gonna be mad at me. But my niece, Nikki, I'm talking about your ass. So she was working at the Bally's at one point in time, and she used to get me ID cards so I could go in there and work out. So because they were in black and white, so you really couldn't tell who was on it. Swipe that shit and go about my business, work out, go in there again, work out. And then one day she wasn't there, and I swiped the card, and whoever this person, they bill was due. They was like, your dues are behind. Oh shit, let me take care of that real quick. I ended up paying. Kept on going. And so I started working there and just started meeting people and everything. And one day I was in there with one of the old managers at the time. And she was like, you seem to know everybody in this club, everybody like you, and then you have to start training. I was like, I ain't really into that shit like that. She was like, nah, I'm telling you, could be good at it. You could be good at it. I was like, all right, so fuck it. I started personal training real life. And then I went out and I got my certifications for NASM and AAAI, National Science Sports Medicine, and AAAI, American Aerobic Association. And started doing that training, and shit, after a while, they was like, man, we need to make you the fitness director. I was like, oh shit. So they put people up on me, man. I started putting it right in their programs and nutrition and everything. I was killing that market with them. And Bally's ended up giving me like 3 of their clubs. So I was fitness director over South Lake, Cumberland, and then one they had in Stone Mountain. And the training thing was just a half personality, half I was aggressive with my training. So people knew they come in, we was gonna go get it. So to this day, I don't train as much. I do myself, and I have little one-offs, people that I fool with. Still help people like nutrition. I'm just not as active like that in the clubs like I used to be. But yeah, I used to love that training. I mean, I had a good time doing that. I had a good time.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And it kept me busy.
We got a question from Drew. He says, do you play any instruments?
I can play piano enough to figure my melody out when I record a record. But even like this live stuff I did, once I find my melodies or whatever I want, I let the people who play. Guitars, I can pick, hey, let me get, but I let them play. I'm not I don't fluently play piano, guitar, anything like that. Beat machine all day. But when I program the live project, the bass rock project, I digitally programmed the beats initially, and then I played the beats and allowed the guitars and the keyboard, the drum, allowed them to come in and they played their interpretation of it. We tweaked it, did whatever we had to do, and that's how those songs came together. So it just works. So I don't play fluent, just enough to get my idea, and I let these cats who play. I'm gonna pay them to play.
I had a piano when I first moved here, and I wanted to learn something, so I watched a couple YouTube videos and learned how to play the Simpsons theme. And I was like, I'm gonna get into this, and I never did. We just do the piano.
Yeah. I let people play. Yeah, I let people play who know how to play. I let them do their job. And
that's why I don't talk sports. People always like, why don't you do a Brown show? I'm like, dude, for one, imagine going to a funeral every week. Imagine your grandmother dying every week. That's what the Browns games are like. It's so fucking depressing. And just two, I'm better at the comedy. I'm like, I'll let the sportscasters deal with that shit. That's not my vibe. I'll talk. I'll go on somebody else's show if they want to talk Browns, but I'm not gonna bring it over because I start talking Browns. There goes the UK guys. They don't give a fuck about the Browns. You know what I mean? All right, time for some silly questions here. We always do some silly questions to end the show. Tupac or Eminem? Who would you pick out of those two guys?
Pac, baby. I'm West Coast. Pac, got to.
Okay. Bird or Dr. J?
Bird. Oh, well, shit. Hold on. Well, damn.
That's a tough one, right? That's a tough one.
Because Bird was a fucking force, man. He got the range to back his shit. So yeah, I was part of that big Magic Bird ride, and I'm Lakers fan today. No LeBrons. I'm Lakers fan.
Yeah, I was gonna say thanks for taking LeBron. Jeez,
man,
I could have retired here, but no, he had to go out to LA, and now we're gonna hate him again. But I'm glad the Cavs are killing it this year, LA, because God damn it, it feels good. All we want in Cleveland, don't get me wrong, we had fun in 2016. It was a fun time, but that was more LeBron's championship. Everybody gives LeBron credit for that. We got this team with Mitchell and Garland and Mobley. This is a Cleveland fucking championship. This is from we're great.
I wish y'all would take LeBron's back.
Well, we'll see. Maybe after we win one, they can come back for the next year after that.
Y'all can have it. What you got?
All right. What kind of dishwashing detergent do you use?
I'm in my kitchen right now. Dawn.
Everybody always goes Dawn to that. Dawn's popular. Dawn's popular.
Uh-huh.
All right, how long could you sit in the library and do nothing before you fell asleep?
Just sitting, doing absolutely nothing?
Absolutely nothing. You get on your phone, you're just sitting there in a chair. How long would it take you?
Depends on the time of day. In the morning, I would be better off come noon, 2, 3 o'clock. That's when I get my little nod. And then after that, I'm pretty cool.
Okay. What is your favorite airline you've been on, and what is your least favorite?
Delta. I fly with Delta. I work with Delta.
Okay.
That's what I work for right now. So I'm Delta, baby.
Okay.
and truthfully, that's who I used to fly. I used to always make people when they book my shows, I would only fly Delta. Hell, I was a 1,000,000-mile member in like a year almost. Had medallion stats with them cats over 1,000,000 miles that first year. We were out. We were bouncing from one side of the country to the next in the same day.
Oh, so you must have built up. You were taking vacations off that shit, no?
Man, that's all it was. We were out rolling. we drove to Birmingham for a concert one day, did a daytime concert in Birmingham, flew to LA for a concert, 2 hours up to the LA Amphitheater, did that show that afternoon, got right back up, no changing, no clothes, no nothing, back on the plane down to Miami. Oh, we used to get it in. We used to get it. So definitely Delta.
Okay. When was the last time you were at the zoo?
Oh man, that's been 10 years, 15 years maybe.
Probably since the kids were little, huh?
Yeah, at least 10, 15 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Have you ever been in a Ferrari? What about a Lamborghini? And do you have a favorite car?
Both.
Okay.
Ferrari, I do. I do have a favorite car. I just picked up that C8, so that's my toy for right now. That new C8 that came out. So I just went on and picked that up. Maybe I think I had that maybe 6 months now.
Okay.
Went on, found a front lip spoiler, ordered all my stuff, put all the aftermarket on there, rear diffuser, side skirts, front lip. Did all that shit right there in the garage.
Nice. Yeah, I got a Kia because you've been up in the north before. You know, it gets cold and they use salt on these roads. So like for me to get a classic, plus I'm a slob too, whatever. But like you know, it would be counterintuitive for me. I got better things to spend my money on. Weed. You know how it is.
Yeah, I'm definitely a vet person. That's like my third one. So I bought that first one originally, and then when I had my girls, I kind of had to get rid of because it just wasn't economical. I bought the 19. And then, like I said, I just picked this one up out here.
Okay. Do you like the Caribbean? And have you ever been to the Virgin Islands?
Yeah, a few times. Yeah. Oh, Virgin, we used to eat them up. Yeah, I still go out there quite a bit. Matter of fact, my daughter, she just got back, and I'm planning on just going. So, yeah, I like the Virgin real nice. Bahamas, Virgin, all this, yeah.
Okay, I mean, I'll run easy out there. Who, in your opinion, are the 3 most famous people you have met in your life?
I have met, man, I mean, the crazy thing about it, through the travels, of course, everybody from Will Smith to we hung out a few times in LA, Philly, we hung out. You know, if you want to say Luke, you can say what you want. The cat's still legendary. You know, Destiny's Child. And these are mostly on the musician side. Jesus Christ, that list probably goes on and on and on. Some senators here in Atlanta. Damn. Oh my God, that list is forever long. I think it's a whole lot of hands, especially on the music side that I touched up.
Okay.
Yeah, that list is ridiculous, probably.
Okay. How long would it take you to parallel park a car?
Oh, I'm quick with that. Yeah, it don't take. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't have an issue parallel.
In and out, baby.
Yeah, I'm in and out on that.
All right. This question we have asked everybody. We asked like 100 people this question. Beatles or Queen? Who would you pick out of those 2 bands?
Damn, you rough with it. I mean, Beatles, I imagine got a bigger catalog. I do like a lot of the Queen, a whole lot of the Queen stuff. I'm gonna have to go with the Beatles because John Lennon came off a lot of that stuff, and they came back and he did a lot of the little solo shit and all that. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the Beatles.
Okay.
Yeah, because actually, on part of that rock project, I remade one of their records. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Beatles.
Okay. What's something you haven't done yet you're sure you're gonna do by the time you're 60, and what is your advice for your future self?
More travel. It's still some countries I haven't been to. I'm trying to set me up one up Africa top of it next year coming up. So just get my travel on a little bit more because I kept saying last year I was gonna do it, but I always got projects that keep coming up. And like my daughters, you know, I'm with Delta, so like they fly free. My daughters fly more than I fly. That little heifer tater, that thing, boy. I think in the last month she done been to where'd she go? She done been to Colorado. No, she's going to Colorado. Just got back from Arizona. Just got back from Mexico. Just left the Virgin Islands last weekend. And I'm like, you got more time than me. How's that possible? These are my flights. You're going on my privileges. But that joker, she get out. She get out. So some of the bigger countries like Africa, of course, I want to go over to England, check them out a little bit. Some of these other spots. So it's just get a little more travel in.
Okay. Do you have anything else to promote, and how do people get hold of you?
Like I say, the only thing I would push out there, of course, is this bass rock project, which is on iTunes. Everything can be found at I am LA Sno on Instagram, IAMLASNO. That's my TikTok. That's my Instagram. Hadn't been pushing it, but that would be the next thing I would do if I decide to really kind of come back into it heavy. I was trying to lead off with we were remaking this Marshall Tucker record. I don't know if you ever heard that record. Can't You See?
Can't you see? I listen to that song several times a week, brother.
Yes, so we did a rock version to this record, and I performed it live. And when I performed it live, that made me know I need to record this one. It was fucking ridiculous. It was ridiculous because the intro we did different, the tempo was a little bit different, and we rocked it. We put a heavy rock, not like it's just overburdened rock, but it fits right in there. And the response I got let me know. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do this damn record.
That's gonna be a banger. When that song comes in, bam, bam. That's a great song. What's it doing your eye, man?
When you hear this version, because we do a slow drag into it, just a guitar solo, where it just coming in for about maybe 30, 40 seconds before it comes in, and then when it hits, it just boom, boom, it comes right in. So it's a slick record the way we did. I think it's gonna do real well as even as the lead record if I decide to do it. So that's kind of where we're at with yeah. So it'll be the rock stuff. So it's bass rock. It's on iTunes and everything. BASS ROCK, spelled just like that. 2 words, bass rock by LA Sno. That's it.
Is the version of Can't You See, is it on YouTube at all?
No, not yet. I did we recorded it one way, but the way I performed it was a lot different. So it just turned me off to the guitars the way we recorded. So I didn't want to put that version in the atmosphere. Okay, so I just kind of shelved the version we had because the guitar it wasn't what I was hearing. So we went back and did it live a few times, did the rough drafts, and we just hadn't been into the studio to actually physically record it yet. Okay.
Well, looking forward to that, my friend. Man, all right, brother. I'd like to thank you for coming out, man. This was fun. You're a good guy. It's an awesome time. If you ever need any VA stuff, just hit me up. That's my job. Yes, sir. Disability compensation. That's what I do every day.
I'm gonna call you right now. Look, I'm working on the damn claim right now that they kind of screwing me over on.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk after the stream.
Definitely.
All right, yeah. So be sure to check us out next Friday. I don't know what next Friday's gonna be a death pool draft. So if you're gonna do a death pool this year, hit me up and we'll get into it. There's still 3 more days of guys to pass away, but thanks to Mr. Ellie Sno for joining us. We'll talk to you guys later.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir.